It's an interesting point that why I like this song, because this song carries my name. It's like Arivu. We need to trust the process. Nobody needs to speak for me. I have my own voice to speak for me. The feeling is the same, pain is the same, but the form is changed. Myself, Arivu. So I come from a place called Arakonam, which is around 80 kilometers from Chennai. I grew up in a place where there were a lot of folk music, basically music which spoke about life of the people, the struggles, and it was a place where a town and a village, merges. It's kind of a suburb. So I got to observe a lot of cultural diversity during my earlier days. So which impacted me a lot too. When I started writing, automatically it came to my mind that what are all the things that I observed during the younger days. And I did engineering, and then I did MBA, and then I just jumped into music, and I didn't know that I will get into music, but I kept writing and keeping it myself, and rarely I show or rarely I share it with my friends or family if there is a need. So that's how minimal I was as an artist. And later on, I never knew that I'm gonna come here or about this journey. I have no idea. I had no idea back then, but I wished actually, like whenever I see a stage or wherever I see artists performing, I felt like, yeah, we should also be a performer like this. And the journey switched. It all began from my place. It's called Arakonam. I would say that there is not any particular event that made me realize. I feel like it is everywhere. Like since from a younger age, I felt there is a difference between me and the next guy who is sitting with me in a classroom. So I can feel it. Like my food is different from his food. My house is different from his house. My father speaks a different thing, and they speak about different thing. And everything was in difference only. It's from the day one itself. It is different. So I cannot like justify an instance that hit me so that I turned into this person. It's not like that. I'm made as this person by the society. I'm a product of this reality. So is what I feel. So yeah, there are instances, there are moments in this journey that I felt it very close. I felt the beast is like, is now coming to me. All these things I have felt so many times, but in the earlier stages, I never knew that this is caste. This is because of the difference. Like during my school days itself, like how the teacher treats us, how the teacher treats the other student who comes from a different background. The teacher has some hierarchy in their eyes. So I can feel it. Like I had questions. Actually, I had questions on my teachers. Why they speak to me in a different tone? Why they speak to other person in a different tone? These were all my questions. But answers I found like after so many years later. But the feeling was started from there. I can feel it everywhere. No? Back then I used to turn to an emotional guy when something hits me hard, or when I feel something that somebody's kind of now it's turned into a modern way. No, it was only the untouchability existed back then in a physical form, like direct form. Now it's modern. Now it's in a very hi-fi way. I can feel it actually. The feeling is the same, pain is the same, but the form is changed. So now I think I'm aware, and I'm aware enough to find it, because the first thing is you should know what is happening to you. That's the main thing. But my grandfather, my father they have so many testimonies about it. They have so many instances that they were treated badly by the upper caste, by the landlords, and they used to share a lot of stories with me, which is not happening right now. But actually, I'm very blessed that my parents saved me in all the ways possible from not being a victim to the caste. but at the same time I can feel their pain. I can now I'm back then I was under my parents control. I was in that situation, so they saved me. After that, in the past like 10 years, I'm alone. Like I'm traveling alone. I go meet people, I go see people. So now it's me versus the society. It's me, it's one on one. It has become one on one. So now I can see a lot of differences in people, the way the people talk to me, the way the conversations are happening. But now I feel like I'm aware enough to handle this type of situations. I think I'm doing just their painting work. So it's not a kind of an influence. It is just the thing that was not done in the earlier times is getting done through me. Is what I feel. Like we are not. I feel like I'm not me. It's like we are we are the part of this whole history. Like we are the part of our ancestors. We are the continuity basically. So I think in this present moment of time, I carry a art that carry the story in a different form, take it to more people, so that the solution, so that the peace that we dream of is possible in a soon, but very soon. That's that. I think I'm that guy. I feel like the questions that they never asked, the answers that they have never got, and the fight that was stopped, and everything is continuing through us. So in that way, all the instances my grandfather told me, I keep talking to grandparents actually. Like everywhere I go, I sit with the elder person in the place, and I just get their story, like talk to them, because they have so much to tell actually. This present world, this contemporary, or how can we can call it whatever, but the present world will never give you the actual truth. It will always have something something that intended toward future. But you definitely need to know what has happened in this land previously. So who will tell you all that? Textbooks, the academics, I won't trust it, because the history that's been taught to me is not the history that happened actually. So later in my age I felt like, oh, why did we study all these things? Actually nothing is useful for me. The experience, the story that I heard from a grandfather in my village is more useful in my life than a book that I bought, a very expensive book that I bought during my school or college times, and I read it for like day and night long. I cannot apply it to my life. So in that way, I feel like my grandparents are not allowed to, walk on street with the footwear. Now I'm like, I can drive a car in the same road. All these things all the smaller and bigger changes that are happening now is because I'm able to enjoy it. I'm able to realize it because I know the story of the same street. I know the story of the same place. So in that way, I wherever I go, I listen to the story of the roots. Actually, Ambedkar got introduced into my life even before my school time. Like Ambedkar was everywhere around me. There is an Ambedkar statue nearby my house, where everyone we meet there. It is our meeting spot. Like if somebody calls me, they say I'm Ambedkar selector. Like I'm near the Ambedkar statue now. It is a meeting point. I grew up around him, like around his statue, around his writings, around people who are dedicated Ambedkarites who work in field. Like they go real deep into this lower deck of the society and work, and especially songs by Dalit Subaya. So I would say one song of Dalit Subaya, from one song of Dalit Subaya we can understand a book from Ambedkar. He's such a scholar and a singer. So he reads a lot about Ambedkar, and he makes song, and he goes to every village, like free of cost. He used to sing. So my parents never allow me to watch TV. They never allow me to like go out and play or something, but they only allow me to go to Ambedkarite meetings. So because it is very close, I can come back home anytime I want. And also my parents are Ambedkarites, so they are also like field workers. They do it like they don't do it. They don't advertise it. but they do it like every moment of life. Like, in that way, Ambedkar is all around me. So that is the main thing. And later on, I started reading. After I think after I entered into college, I started reading basically. Before that, I just like observed everything that's around me. Okay, we wear a blue shirt, we say JVM when we walk on street. We gather thousands of people in my place. That is the one day we share sweet. That is the one day we dance, we enjoy. We stand in street. It's actually a very good feeling. Like the same road, which is a very usual traffic road, but for that day we can like stand there and like celebrate in front of everybody. Like actually the main thing that was missing was the celebration. So what is there for us to celebrate? Our life is conditioned to be in pain. Our job is to be like from dawn to dusk we need to work, and there seemed to be no kind of entertainment or joy during my childhood. So the only joy we had is gatherings like this. So all these gatherings were in the name of Ambedkar. So I feel like Ambedkar came to me through all these mediums, and later on I am just putting it into words and make songs. Okay, my grandmother, I would say she's the most powerful woman ever, because she's so powerful because they were thrown out of the country as refugees, almost refugees from Sri Lanka to India during 1970s as tea plantation workers. So they were working in tea plantation in Sri Lanka, but they were forced to get out of their country because their ancestors were from India. So there came a pact between India and Sri Lanka, which said that the people who had their ancestors in India should get back to their native. So in that way, they were forced to come out from their place. They had already made a settled life there. Even though they were working in tea plantation, they were doing well off. Like they were sorted there. But all of a sudden, they had to cut and open the next scene in Tamil Nadu, where they know nobody, because it was their ancestors' time that therefore they went, but now it's almost like 2 or 3 generations next they are coming back again. So they were not able to crack it here. And also there is this hate for newcomers in every land, which I don't really agree with, but big people, because of the situation, they are migrating. People are not migrating for hobby or just to have fun in another country. So in that way they faced so much local hate and all these things. And it's actually my grandmother who stood strong in all these type of situations for more than 50 years, and that's what made me today, I would say, because she's such a strong woman. And I grew up in my grandmother's hand, because my mother is a teacher, so she was busy doing her work, and she had very less time to spend with me. But my grandmother gave me her full time, and I'm her pet grandchild. I'm her favorite grandchild. So in that way, she tolerated me. I was a very annoying, how can we say, I was very childish. I play a lot. I irritate them a lot. I would say I was an intolerable kid. But my grandmother handled me so well, and she shaped me so well. And now, after growing up, I feel like what gave me this much of strength. How do I come here? When I look back, I see women standing behind me, like my mother, my grandmother, and all the women in my family are the strongest pillars that made what I am today and all of us today. So in that way, my grandmother, after a point I felt like, okay, why can't we write about our grandmother? Why can't we write songs about our grandmother? And it happened during Enjoy Enjami that I wrote some glimpse of inspirations from grandmother. I wouldn't say it is a fully focused on my grandmother or something like that. It is a song. It is an independent song which we made, but it had the influence and impact of my experience with my grandmother. But right now I feel like she is casteless. She doesn't have any all the intellectual high, or all the academics that teaches how to live life is actually being lived by my grandmothers. So like all this super they lived an equal life actually. Like I feel it because I can bring anyone to my home. That is a big thing, no? Like most of the Indians cannot bring everyone to their home, but I can bring anybody to anybody to my home. My grandmother will treat you equally. My grandmother will give you the same love as how she loves me. So that itself makes her a big winner, no, in this land. So I feel like wow, so much of understanding about life, so much of understanding about history and patience and love. They never took violence. They never chose a crooked path, chose a small a wrong path to succeed in life. They are still in the same morality. They are still maintaining the same morality in life, which is very beautiful. I feel like wow. So I wouldn't say I'm a perfect person. I'm very imperfect, but I feel like that I need to learn a lot and lot from the people who never went to school, but always educated us in a greater way. The education from my grandmother is so precious. So during my childhood, I never knew there is this thing called hip hop. Actually, like I have never heard a hip hop song until I get into college. But I read Tamil a lot. Like I keep reading newspaper because since there was no television, I had to entertain myself through reading newspapers. Random news, like there will be like some marriage advertisement. There will be like some what, like all this thing, all the small attachments in the newspaper, all the pin things also I used to read. So that helped me to go faster in my language. Like Tamil is very comfortable for me. I can go any speed in Tamil because I kept reading it. And I had nothing to do. Like only thing that kept me inside my house or kept me calm was reading. So I read random stuff, but language got into me through that. And then now I read selective stuff. Now I filter a lot before I read something. But back then I kept reading whatever comes around me. Like the bhaji paper also I read. I feel like wow, there is a life quotation in this bonda paper or something. Yeah, most of the times I felt during my childhood, but now I feel like the things that I read and it has strengthened my language skills, and I write poems since from my childhood. The things that I observe, I go home, I sit alone, I cover myself with a mat and write, sit inside it and I write my feelings, pen down that what I observed today. And I sometimes cry while I write because it hurts me a lot to see somebody suffering around me. I cannot handle it. But then I will go immediately emotional. That will actually my day will be stopped there. If I see somebody who is close to me or somebody around me, I was that guy. So but after some point people got to know that I'm a very emotional guy. So in order to hide my weaknesses, I jumped into writing. Okay, let's write, and it turned into poetries of the reality basically. So I got nothing to romanticize, so I just wrote what I observed. So that turned into rap eventually. Actually, it was my friends told me that this is rap after I did rap. They said, oh, they played a beat and I wrote a poem during my college days, and then I did something and it sounded well, and my friends said this is rap. This is how rap sounds like. And then only they showed me, oh, see, there is this rapper, there is this rapper, there is this. Back then I had no phone or nothing to listen to, but they shared me their music. Oh, this artist is there, this artist is there, and it was the previous phase. And in the recent past, in the recent 5 years, I get to know about the artists who speak the same politics as me. Like the people, artist who speaks for people, or the artist I am listening to now. Like but back then friends showed me all the artists all over the world, like whoever they listen to. Some guy will listen to Backstreet Boys, some guy will listen to Michael Jackson, some guy will listen to Linkin Park. All of them they shared to me. But now I feel like the songs that I am able to connect soulfully, songs that speak about problems that we face in real life, and artists who really have the intention to make some change, social change through their art. I follow all this art. So this is the foundation for my hip hop basically. So even now also I don't like listen to much songs or hip hop songs or something like that. I just keep talking to people. I just make people talk and like observe things, and I don't know, maybe it will turn into a song someday, or it will turn into a behavior someday, or it will turn into a speech someday. But our job is to like receive it. Yeah, and sometimes if it is a committed project, we need to deliver it. I just sit down and write for them. But the natural writing that comes is actually through observation, and I feel like hip hop is more this real side for me. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like the life of the oppressed, or the life of the working class, or life of the Dalits, or however we can say it, is actually in a spotlight now, is actually in the market. Whatever you say, it's actually in the mainstream thing now. I think this is the time we need to be very careful, because anybody can film anything, anybody can sing anything, anybody can write anything. It is their right. But what actually benefits the victim? What actually create some small amount of change in the life of whom it was shot from. So this is the high time where we need to be very aware of what is the impact of our art, what is the impact of our work in the society. We cannot pre-calculate it, but at the same time we need to set our intentions right. If the intentions are right, then definitely it will reflect in a good way in the society, now or later. But if the intentions are set wrong, or to just make money out of somebody who's poor, and it's like a poverty porn kind of a thing, and then it's going to again pull it back only. Like it's again, it's not gonna grow as a society. Maybe it will help a single person to succeed, a single person to get appreciation, or get into the fame or whatever. But as a community, as a society, we need to develop. We need I feel like we need art and art forms that actually represents and also fights and also asks questions without a fear. And I feel like nobody needs to speak for me. I have my own voice to speak for me. Like I don't need mediators right now to communicate with the world, is what I feel. It's a great feeling actually. Like I felt it. Sometimes I felt it. Wow, now we have a voice. Like I go sit in a room where full of people who hate me inside, but just my art took me inside that room. Like it's not hate. They will not understand your life. They will not be able to get what you're saying and where you come from. They will only see you as a specimen in a laboratory. Wow, you came this far, huh? You came into this room. Wow, that wow is actually so cool to see. That it's actually a success. It's a small moment of success for us, but we need to be very careful in those rooms basically, because those are the rooms that we sell us. We were forced to sell ourselves. So we need to be very careful in all those rooms. I think be connected with the community, connected with the people who are selflessly working, helps us not to get diverted from where we are moving. Actually, like if I'm an artist. I am connected with all the people from different fields who are on the same ideology, so that if my art or my life gets appropriated, or if my life gets commercialized in a wrong intention, people around me are able to see it actually before me. So we have to be in such a circle. Our circle needs to be a circle which actually with the same like-mindedness. So I feel like appropriation is everywhere, but we need to learn how to ball it. We need to learn, because you definitely need to collaborate with this capitalist world to survive here, and to make your voice reach out to people. You definitely jump into this pool of market world where there are so many people with so many different ideologies. They will be trying to collaborate with you just for music, just for voice, or just for a video, something like this. We will not have all strings attached. We will have only some two or three things that that aligns between you and another person. I feel like it is very democratic to connect with them through all this string, but we should always stick to, why are we doing this? Like, there is one beautiful saying in the Bible that fish lives in the seawater, which is salt, but the fish does not contain salt in its body. Like, never allows salt inside its body. So in that way also, we should keep safeguard our ideology and hand it over to a person who is more sincere than us, is what my feeling. And I think we can handle appropriation in a more clear way through this approach. Yeah, my association with director Paranjit starts from the Casteless Collective. There was this Casteless Collective audition. I went there and I presented myself and I sang the song that inspired me during my young age by Dalit Subaya. Actually, Dalit Subaya's song got me an opportunity into Casteless Collective. Without his song, Paranjit would not have noticed me, or the Casteless Collective would not have selected me. I went inside with a song that actually speaks about Dr. Ambedkar's life in a local folk song. So it was smooth for me to get into the audition, and after that I was fortunate to work closely with director Paranjit in his movies and also in his cultural movement, and I learnt a lot. I'm still learning, and there is a big movement that happening, emancipating minds, I would say. Actually, it frees my mind. My mind gets free when I meet director Paranjit, and people around him. His movement, everything is actually about freedom. It's about being yourself. But back then we used to put ourselves in so many different boxes, so that we will always seek opportunities. We will never see it as an experience, because life never, this caste society never let us to celebrate smaller joys. Experience, we have never seen it as experience. Everything was a competition. But after joining my hands with director Paranjit and Casteless Collective on all this movement, I feel like, wow, we are here as the same as how we are in our home. So this is actually a great feeling. Now the movement is growing bigger and bigger. So my association with Paranjit is getting more closer. We are working on so many things together, and I feel very blessed to be a part of the whole movement. And definitely I would like to see more younger generation comes into this thing, because not for fame, not for money, not for opportunities, but to live life happily. But to be yourself, you need a team. Why are we becoming friends with someone? Because they will not judge us, they will not they will accept us. So I feel this acceptance here in this team, here in this movement. So this sense of belonging needs to strengthen more, and it's happening. I usually don't advise anybody, because right now I'm in a mind space where I see everything as an experience. So we cannot design life. Basically, we need to trust the process. But to trust the process, jump into something that you have never experienced, we need to set our intentions. We need to speak to ourselves and find out what is our calling, what is our purpose of being here, what is the thing that is pending in this history that you can build you can take a smaller step or a bigger step, but the direction is what is must, as I feel. So any artist anywhere, I get inspired from street singers, I got inspired from people who sing in streets, protest and everywhere, but they have never got to the place where I am in right now. But I feel like I carry their message, I represent all of them. And there is a lot more to represent. There is a lot more artists to I want to speak about. I want to cover many songs that are written by during the 90s, all the people who inspired me. In that way, we definitely need to learn or read or explore about our roots, so that we will find a purpose of what is pending here. If we come from a privileged background or whatever, we need to definitely cut that privilege, and we need to come to a place where we are able to approach everybody equally. If you are coming from an underprivileged background, we need to definitely motivate ourselves to set our standards equal in front of everybody who thinks that we are not up to the mark. So it is basically learning and unlearning. We need to find the balance, and if we are able to reflect it in our art, it is amazing that, because people will also get your experience, no? Because I am into this experience, so how can I communicate it to another person? So through my art. So through my art, if I am able to tell a story that inspires other person to go write a song, to go do something that they always hesitated to do, is actually a success. So in that way, I feel like everybody have their own goals and dreams, but intentions, if we are able to set it right, then journey will be amazing. Okay, Bali Subaya song. Okay. The name of the song is Arive Un Peyardan Ambedkara, which means he is actually asking a poetic question. It's a metaphor that's saying, oh knowledge, your other name is Dr. Ambedkar or what? It's a beautiful song. Arive Un Peyardan Ambedkara, Arame Un Gunamdan Bhimarava. You know why? It's an interesting point that why I like this song, because this song carries my name. It's like Arive Un Peyardan Ambedkara. So it attracted me in that way. Wow, my name is in that song. But it's actually written in a different context, but it's actually beautiful. No? My parents named me Arivu, which is directly meaning is knowledge. So during my actually this is fun. Like during my childhood, my teachers would say you only have Arivu in your name. You don't have Arivu inside your brain. And I performed this song for the Casteless Collective audition. So Arive Un Peyardan Ambedkara, Arame Un Gunamdan Bhimarava, Arive Un Peyardan Ambedkara, Arame Un Gunamdan Bhimarava, Annale Un Latchiyam Vidudalaya, Annale Un Latchiyam Vidudalaya, Uire Em Unarve Engal Mugavari Needanaya, Pesa Bayanda Seri Sanathai Pesa Vaitha Perumagan Nee Perariñan Nee, Pesa Bayanda Seri Sanathai Pesa Vaitha Perumagan Nee Perariñan Nee, தாழ்ந்து கிடந்த எளிய சனத்தை தலை நிமிரவே உடைத்தவன் நீ, தந்தையும் நீ தியாகமே நீ, அறிவே உன் பெயர்தான் அம்பேத்கரா, அறமே உன் குணம்தான் பீமாராவா. JB.
Thank you so much.
Nice, yeah, thank you. It was good. So I had a great time interacting with you.